Yo, I just got some information myself, man, because it was strange to me that every month he's going up for a bail hearing. And I know that seems strange to a lot of people.
Live, a judge has denied bail for Sean Diddy Combs. Of course, this was the hip-hop mogul's latest bid for freedom as he remains in federal jail for his racketeering and trafficking case.
Sean Diddy Combs, one of hip-hop's most legendary figures, is embroiled in a legal battle that could leave a lasting impact on his legacy. The music mogul, celebrated for his extravagant lifestyle and groundbreaking career, has been denied bail for the third time. Judge Run Steuben's decision underscores the court's concern that no amount of money or restrictions could guarantee the community's safety if Diddy were to be released. The detailed ruling paints a troubling portrait of the former Bad Boy Records founder, who now faces a series of serious allegations and a reputation under siege.
So yesterday, Monday, Diddy celebrated his 55th birthday, but this year was a lot different. It was no Diddy parties. It was none of that. None of that stuff. Well, happily, so I guess right now. But anyway, so this is his first birthday behind bars.
Let's face it, this case is quickly becoming one of the most intense and high-stakes legal battles in recent memory, with not just seeing Diddy Combs' freedom at risk, but the very foundation of his entire empire. In his latest attempt at securing bail, Combs made a bold move with a staggering $50 million bail proposal. The defense argued that this unprecedented offer, paired with strict conditions like round-the-clock private security and a complete ban on internet and phone access, should have been more than enough to address concerns about public safety and flight risks. However, the court remained unconvinced, and Judge Run Steuben delivered a detailed and unflinching explanation, emphasizing why even these extraordinary measures couldn't justify Combs' release.
No, I'm not surprised by the ruling because, as she cited in her order, there are very serious allegations about the danger that he potentially poses to other witnesses and the public at large. There are allegations that he has, been violent with others. He's also attempted to allegedly intimidate other witnesses and still contact witnesses while incarcerated.
The judge's decision was grounded in four critical factors: the severity of the charges, the strength of the evidence, seeing Diddy Combs' personal history, and the potential risk to the community if he were released. Unfortunately for Diddy, the assessment on all fronts painted a grim picture. The charges themselves are staggering: racketeering, coercion, and orchestrating a calculated pattern of harm.
We're monitoring another push to free Sean Diddy Combs tonight, with his legal team citing new evidence in an updated bail proposal. The music mogul agreeing to around-the-clock security and cutting out contact with basically anyone but his legal team to get out of jail ahead of his trial scheduled for May of next year for charges he allegedly coerced and abused women for years.
One of the most incriminating pieces of evidence cited by prosecutors and highlighted in the judge's ruling is a video from 2016 that has since become infamous. The footage, taken in a Los Angeles hotel hallway, allegedly shows seeing Diddy Combs displaying violent and controlling behavior. In the video, Combs, dressed only in a towel, is seen confronting his then-partner, Cassandra Ventura, widely known as Cassie. Prosecutors claim the footage captures him dragging her to the ground, kicking her, and forcibly pulling her back toward their hotel room. They argue this incident is not an isolated occurrence, but part of a larger, disturbing pattern of aggression and control.
Is everybody familiar with the old Houdini? So what Diddy's lawyers are trying to do is pull a Houdini. They're trying to say that the evidence that they have is different. Well, it's not different. The video that the entire world has seen is not going to go away. The fact that he had parties that were freak-offs is not going away. So it's just a question of whether or not.
Adding to the evidence are text messages exchanged between seeing Diddy Combs and Cassandra Ventura after the 2016 incident. These messages reveal a chilling narrative, with Cassie describing visible injuries, stating, "I have a black eye and a swollen lip. You're sick for thinking this is okay," and mentioning lingering bruises. "I still have crazy bruising." Combined with the video footage, these communications paint a damning picture. Prosecutors also allege obstruction, claiming Combs manipulated witnesses and violated detention rules at the Metropolitan Detention Center by using other inmates' phone access codes and private messaging services to make unauthorized calls, some of which were allegedly aimed at influencing witnesses or potential jurors.
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
One of the more unusual elements of the case involves a social media campaign linked to Sean Diddy Combs' recent birthday. Prosecutors argue that this campaign, orchestrated with the help of his family, was intended to sway public opinion and, by extension, influence potential jurors.
So that, they probably didn't see these notes, and they never will.
But if you're Diddy, don't you, want your notes back?
Yeah.
If you've spent so many hours, gathering, evidence for your side or, strategy or whatever, for me, I'd be like, oh, no, please don't destroy. Please return.
Another issue is Combs' alleged communications with a key witness who reportedly received multiple calls and messages from him, even after testifying before a grand jury. The judge noted that while Combs' legal team offered explanations, some interactions remain unexplained, and the deletion of some messages added to the suspicion. This led Judge Severmanin to conclude there was a significant risk of witness tampering, which contributed to the bail denial. The defense, however, denies the allegations, arguing that many claims are exaggerated or false. They point to Combs' willingness to accept strict conditions, including confinement to a Manhattan apartment with private security and limited communication, as proof he could comply with court orders.
If they did in fact occur, their argument is more than likely going to be that this activity was consensual, that this person was a willing participant, and not only that, but that these individuals assumed the risk of being present at those parties, of engaging and voluntarily engaging in the sexual conduct and being in those spaces, consuming and things of that nature.
Despite the defense's compelling arguments, Judge Severmanin was not persuaded. One major point of contention was the proposal to use private security to monitor Combs. Prosecutors argued that this arrangement would effectively allow Combs to pay for his own private jail, creating a two-tier justice system where the wealthy could buy their way out of detention. The judge seemed to share these concerns, noting that the proposed security team would ultimately be accountable to Combs, not the court. This raised doubts about whether such an arrangement could truly ensure compliance with the conditions of his release.
It sounds like there was probably a lot of hidden cameras as well. Is that what is being talked about?
Yes, this was actually in his Atlanta home, at a home he had in Atlanta at one point. And it does seem that the person isn't looking into the video, so to me, doesn't seem like that person knows they're being videotaped. It doesn't seem like they're active participant in the videotaping.
The judge also scrutinized the defense's handling of a separate issue involving notes seized from Combs' jail cell. During a routine contraband sweep, authorities reportedly found troubling notes containing instructions about individuals connected to the case. The defense argued that these notes were protected by attorney-client privilege, but the judge pointed out inconsistencies in the defense's claims, particularly about whether the notes were clearly marked as privileged at the time of the sweep. This discrepancy, combined with other factors, further eroded the court's trust in Combs and his legal team.
Witnesses.
So I think the most important thing, even more important than the passport, is that Mr. Combs came to New York on September 5th. As soon as we realized that this indictment was going to be coming down in a matter of weeks, maybe months, but sometime soon, Mr. Combs got on a plane, left his home in Florida, flew to New York. I called the prosecutors myself. I said, Mr. Combs is in New York. Do you want to know where he is?
A comparison was also made during the hearing with the case of Mike Jeff, a former executive facing similar allegations. Jeff, in his 80s, was granted bail under strict conditions, including a $10 million bond. The defense argued that if Jeff could be released, so should Combs. However, prosecutors countered that the two cases were fundamentally different. Unlike Combs, Jeff is not accused of orchestrating a violent criminal enterprise or engaging in obstruction, and his advanced age was a mitigating factor. The judge ultimately agreed with this distinction, solidifying the decision to keep Combs in custody.
So my defense is very well established. I interviewed myself the different men who were being brought sort of into Mr. Combs and this person's intimate situation. I've flown around the country. I've interviewed a large number of them. There's not the slightest inkling, according to the interviews that I've done, of anything that's coercive, non-consensual.
With bail denied, Combs now faces the daunting challenge of preparing for trial from behind bars. His legal team has indicated they may appeal the decision, but even if they do, the odds of success seem slim. Meanwhile, the allegations against him continue to pile up, with new lawsuits emerging almost weekly. This latest setback is just one chapter in a story that shows no signs of slowing down. For now, the man once known as the king of the music industry must confront the reality of his situation, behind bars, facing mounting legal troubles, and a legacy hanging in the balance. This case is getting messier by the minute, and the denial of bail is just the beginning.
Sean Diddy Combs was denied bail for the third time, a federal judge saying that the government had proven by clear and convincing evidence that there were no conditions of release that would ensure the safety of the community.
Here's the scoop. During a search of Combs' cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center, authorities reportedly found a stack of personal notes. At first glance, this might seem insignificant. Who doesn't jot things down to stay organized? But according to prosecutors, these weren't just everyday reminders. Among the most shocking claims, Combs allegedly wrote about digging up dirt on his accusers. It doesn't end there. One entry reportedly instructed a family member to gather information on specific individuals tied to the case, while another mentioned paying off witnesses. Combs' legal team denies these allegations, calling them a gross misinterpretation. But in a case already full of manipulation accusations, this discovery only adds fuel to the fire.
The defense denying these claims and is pushing for his release under strict conditions, including a $50 million bond and 24/7 monitoring at a secured Manhattan apartment. There will be a hearing today where both sides will have a chance to clarify exactly how Combs has been connecting with the world outside his jail cell.
You'd think these notes would be a slam dunk for prosecutors. Written evidence of tampering and intimidation. But not so fast. Combs' defense team argues that the notes were protected by attorney-client privilege and should never have been seized. They've accused the Bureau of Prisons and the prosecution of overstepping their bounds, claiming the seizure violated Combs' constitutional rights. Things got even more heated at an emergency hearing, where his lawyers demanded answers about how the search was conducted and whether this was part of a targeted effort to undermine the case.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
The judge didn't want to make a premature ruling, so he decided that prosecutors must destroy any copies of the notes they had. However, the originals would remain under court supervision while both sides argue their admissibility. For now, the notes are in legal limbo, not entirely off the table, but not fully in play either. But make no mistake, the mere existence of these notes has already cast a long shadow over the case. If you're a juror or even a casual observer, how does it look when someone accused of serious crimes is found making notes about digging up dirt on their accusers? Even if Combs' team insists these notes have been taken out of context, the damage to his public image is undeniable.
Wait a minute. Say that again. Say that again. Back up. You're saying that there's tapes and they're being shopped?
Yes, there have been people already shopping.
We've heard about the tapes, but
yes.
The shopping thing is...
Yes, there already have been tapes leaking around Hollywood, being shopped around to individuals in Hollywood But one particular person contacted me to shop a particular video they were in possession of.
Speaking of manipulation, this isn't the first time Combs' actions from jail have raised eyebrows. Remember that birthday video where his family celebrated him while he listened in over the phone? Prosecutors argue it was no innocent family moment but a carefully orchestrated campaign to sway public opinion and influence potential jurors. According to their filings, Combs monitored the video's engagement metrics and even strategized about how to maximize its impact. His legal team, however, insists this has been mischaracterized, arguing that Combs is merely defending himself in the court of public opinion. With everything at stake, his freedom, his empire, and his family's future, they've got their work cut out for them.
Not buying it all, Kana, and safety can mean a couple different things. Safety just doesn't mean free from harm of violence. Safety can also, too, means emotional and mental dynamics that could occur by Sean Combs reaching out to potential witness to get them to possibly change.
Even as his lawyers try to control the narrative, new allegations continue to surface. One of the most explosive involves Combs allegedly using his wealth and influence to silence potential witnesses. Prosecutors point to payments made to individuals tied to the case, raising questions about whether these were intended to buy loyalty or silence. Combs' team denies any wrongdoing, claiming these financial dealings were legitimate and unrelated to the allegations. But in the court of public opinion, where optics often matter more than facts, the damage may already be done.
When people got a lot of money and they got lawyers that can come up with different reasons and different information and present it to the courts, that they are able to get how many bail hearings, as long as you got different information to present to the court, different evidence.
This brings us to the broader scandal surrounding Combs' infamous gatherings. Known for their extravagant parties, these events attracted top names in entertainment, politics, and business. But as the allegations mount, these once glamorous affairs are being redefined in a much darker light. Reports suggest some attendees may have witnessed troubling behavior but stayed silent, out of loyalty, fear, or self-preservation. Now, Tony Busby, the lawyer representing over 100 alleged victims, is targeting not just Combs, but everyone who enabled or covered up his actions. According to Busby, silence in the face of wrongdoing is complicity, and those who knew about the alleged misconduct are just as responsible.
Diddy is a multi-millionaire. He's a multi-millionaire. If he wins this case against them, look at all the business that he lost. Look what they made him look like in the public eye. He could bankrupt. he could bankrupt the government.
And let's not forget the celebrities linked to Combs over the years. Names like Jay-Z, Jennifer Lopez, and Usher have all been mentioned in connection with his legendary parties. While there's no evidence suggesting they were involved in or aware of any wrongdoing, their association with Combs has led some to scramble to protect their reputations. Reports suggest that several high-profile figures have quietly scrubbed their social media accounts to distance themselves from Combs. At the same time, others have stepped forward to share unsettling experiences. One woman who attended one of Combs' events described a chaotic atmosphere with out-of-control behavior, adding to the growing chorus of voices painting a troubling picture.
They know they already won their case. He's gonna have to plead guilty to something. Maybe the guns, it may be the trafficking, it may be some stuff they found in the tax evasion. It may be charges that we don't even know about. But he's gonna have to plead guilty to something which get them off the hook.
So where does this leave us? For now, Combs remains behind bars, his once glamorous world reduced to the confines of a detention facility. His legal team is preparing for what promises to be a long and contentious battle, while prosecutors continue to build their case. As more details emerge, it's clear that this story is far from over. The stakes couldn't be higher not just for Combs, but for everyone connected to him. In a case like this, the ripple effects are bound to spread far and wide, impacting lives and careers in ways we can't yet predict. With the trial still months away, new revelations are sure to come to light. Will more accusers step forward? Will former allies turn against him? And what about those notes? Will they be admitted as evidence, or will the defense succeed in keeping them out? One thing is for sure, this case has already changed the way the world sees Sean Diddy Combs. The question is, how much more is there to uncover? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.